By the time Admiral Marcus Grant reached his friend's home, the weight of the encounter hadn't lessened. Colonel Samuel Hayes, a retired Marine with a booming voice and a warm heart, greeted him at the door. "Marcus, you're a sight for sore eyes," Samuel exclaimed, pulling him into a firm hug. Marcus smiled, but it was faint. Samuel immediately noticed. "Something's on your mind. Come inside. Let's talk." As they settled into the cozy living room, with a crackling fire and 2 steaming mugs of coffee, Marcus recounted the morning's events. Samuel's face grew darker with each word. "This isn't the first time you've dealt with this nonsense, is it?" Samuel asked, his voice tinged with anger. "No," Marcus admitted, "but I thought we were past this, or at least getting there." Samuel leaned forward. "Marcus, you've done more for this country than most people could dream of. If they don't recognize that, it's their failure, not yours." Marcus nodded but remained quiet. He wasn't the type to dwell on injustice, but he also couldn't ignore it. Meanwhile, in the town square, word of the encounter spread quickly. Linda, the cafe owner, couldn't let it go. She decided to post about it on social media, describing the scene she had witnessed. She didn't know who Marcus was, but her post read, "Today I saw a man who carried himself with dignity get pulled over for no apparent reason. He didn't yell, didn't argue, but the officer treated him like a criminal. It's 2024. When will we learn to do better?" The post gained traction, and soon people were asking questions. Who was the man? Why had he been stopped? Deputy Eric Caldwell sat in the precinct, reviewing paperwork from the morning. He couldn't shake the encounter with Marcus. Something about it gnawed at him. Not guilt exactly, but a nagging feeling that he had misjudged the situation. "Caldwell!" Sheriff Douglas Harper's voice rang out. The sheriff, a grizzled man in his 60s with a no-nonsense demeanor, stepped into the room holding his phone. "You know anything about this?" He handed the phone to Eric, showing Linda's post. Eric frowned. "Yeah, I stopped the guy. He looked suspicious, out-of-state plates, tinted windows." Harper's eyes narrowed. "And, was he doing anything illegal?" "No," Eric admitted reluctantly. Harper sighed deeply. "Eric, this isn't a good look for us. Stop. You need to be sure before you pull someone over, especially if it's based on how they look. People notice these things, and they're not forgiving." Eric's shoulders tensed. "I was just doing my job." "Your job," Harper said firmly, "is to serve and protect, not to profile." The next day, Marcus received an unexpected call. It was from the mayor of the town, Evelyn Brooks. She introduced herself and apologized for the incident. "Mr. Grant, I've learned who you are, and I'm embarrassed that our town treated you this way," Evelyn said. "I appreciate the call, Madam Mayor, but this isn't just about me. It's about anyone who might face the same assumptions," Marcus replied. Evelyn was quiet for a moment. "You're right. If you're willing, I'd like to meet and discuss how we can address this at a broader level." Marcus agreed, not because he sought reparation, but because he saw an opportunity to make a difference. Back in the precinct, Eric couldn't shake his unease. His colleagues had started whispering, and he'd seen the online backlash. Then he did something unexpected. He looked up Marcus Grant. As he read about the Admiral's career, the missions he had led, and the lives he had saved, shame settled over him like a heavy cloak. He decided to act. That evening, he drove to Marcus's friend's house. Samuel answered the door, his expression hardening at the sight of Eric. "Admiral Grant doesn't need to hear any excuses," Samuel said sharply. "I'm not here to make excuses." Eric replied, "I just want to apologize." Samuel hesitated, then stepped aside. Eric found Marcus in the backyard, gazing at the stars. "Admiral Grant," Eric began, his voice unsteady, "I owe you an apology. I judged you unfairly, and I was wrong. I've read about who you are and what you've done. I'm sorry for not seeing that in the moment." Marcus turned to him, his face calm but unreadable. "What you did wasn't just about me, Officer Caldwell. It's about a mindset that needs to change. Are you willing to work on that?" Eric nodded. "Yes, sir, I am." A week later, Marcus stood on the stage at a town hall meeting. the room packed with residents and officials, including the mayor, Sheriff Harper, and even Deputy Caldwell. "This isn't about one incident," Marcus said, addressing the crowd. "It's about creating a community where everyone is seen for who they truly are, not for the assumptions others make about them. It's about accountability, growth, and understanding." The crowd erupted in applause, but Marcus didn't smile. He knew this was only the beginning of a long journey. Eric, sitting in the back, listened intently. For the first time, he realized that being an officer wasn't just about enforcing laws. It was about building trust and showing respect. And as Marcus left the stage, he felt a glimmer of hope, not just for himself, but for everyone who had ever been judged unfairly. That's the story, friends. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pleasure sharing it with you all. Don't forget to comment below and let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see the global reach of these stories. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories, tips, and tricks. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.